yes. Oh no. It was. I think Granny was a little disappointed that I didn't just go back to Hull and do repertory, which was the idea in the first place, and concerts and things like that. So I'd become almost somewhat of a celebrity in one's old.
A big fish in a small pond. But you went to the big pond and you liked
the big pond, yes, and I didn't want to, and I really enjoyed it. Yeah, in fact, I've enjoyed all my life. It wasn't just that. I only did 8.5. I did 9 years of stage, and it got, again, a job. It was a job. And it's not very good sometimes when you've gone to a race course and people are going out for dinner and then to a show. You have to rush back to the theatre, and you've got to be jolly.
Yeah.
To work, yeah.
You don't really like it particularly. Or you might have got a cold, or you're not feeling very well, but as they say, the show must go on.
Right.
And so you've got to be on your deathbed before they get somebody else to do it.
Yeah.
Well, I understand.
Yeah. You mentioned the Trocadero Club.
Yes, on Shaftesbury Avenue.
Because there was one in Edmonton, but it's named after that one, and it was in Shaftesbury. That's the West End, is it?
That's right.
Yeah.
Right, theatre district.
And that was for
And it was huge. And they said, and they all put 2 cabarets on the night, and you worked hard, but it was good work.
Which was was that what you call music hall? That kind of cabaret?
Yeah, well, it was cabaret.
Yeah.
Right. And then there was the Dorchester Hotel and the Grosvenor House Hotel.
Haven't you played in the Dorchester?
Oh, sure. And Peggy was there for 2 years.
We stayed. Well, some of those pictures we saw last night were in front of us, of the Dorchester.
The only time I ever stayed that did this, the Dorchester, when Peggy was there, because Peggy had a voice. She had a beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So they were
Peggy Posner or Peggy?
Well, she was Peggy Edwards on the stage because her father's name was Swaby, but he changed it to Bertie Edwards because he was a comedian in the West End.
Right.
And the reason I liked it.
That was old Papa Swaby in the picture we saw.
And the reason I liked, and I lived with them, you see, and they were a theatrical family. Mrs. Swaby had been an old Gaiety girl, one of the Gaiety girls. You see, which was a very well-known theatre, and they were like the Cochrane girls.
Like the Rockettes.
They worked for Cochrane. No, that wasn't the sort of dancing you do.
Oh.
No, it was more like the cabaret dancing.
Right.
Where you don't dance in long strings, William, in long lines or anything, you know. It's more an individual sort of dancing, you know. It's hard to explain.
So which one was your favorite dance? Which one did you really...
Well, it was what the choreographer came up with, with the music, you know. You see, nobody gets up on a stage and just dances as you see them. It's all rehearsed, every step, and it has to be choreographed. We used to call them ballet masters, which in any case, they tell you they have the basic steps, and then they tell you this. It's what you make of it. You're either a good dancer or you're not a good dancer, and that's all it amounts to. You're either a singer or you're not a good singer. You know what I mean? You don't have to be an operatic singer to be a singer, but you've got to have some sort. You've got to hold a tune to start off, haven't you?
Yeah. I wanted to hear about your story about the black and white. You and your partner.
Oh, that was absolutely nothing. Well, it was just we were doing it in cardovers and coffee places and things. And
you were blonde.
I was white blonde and she was coal black, and she was the singer and I was the dancer.
And this is Peggy again.
This is Peggy.
The same Peggy.
And we tried it, but it didn't.
Peggy Edwards.
Peggy Edwards. It didn't work.
No?
No. We got everybody to try it, and that was we didn't get enough booking.
Oh.
We didn't make any money at it. That was the point. You know, no.
That was in the late 20s.
Or was it? Yes, it must have been before the late 20s, because I was married in the. When was I? I didn't leave Dudley. No, I mean that's not anything to do with career. I mean it was just something we tried on our own, and we did it in small places like Golders Green and Camden Town and Streatham. I mean, we never got very far, and usually
in pubs or in like clubs, little clubs.
Not really, no. And it was mostly between cinemas. Used to have an act between.
Oh, between movies.
Because they had 2 movies on, and the piano would play. You know, you wouldn't remember those days.
Well, I knew that they had live pianos. Yeah.
Small cinemas, not like West End cinemas.
No.
But before they brought in that they had the continuing, you used to cut off when one film ended, and people stayed in for the next one. Double films, so they had to be entertained in between, you see. And we did that. No, it wouldn't. Not even worse. Remember, it's like you saying I did a couple of gigs somewhere. It doesn't mean a damn thing. You know, a wedding or something.
I always think of it because in those days Bob's hair was fairly new, so you both had very short hair.
And she was a very beautiful person. Betty was one of the most beautiful girls in London.
And a really good singer.
And had a beautiful voice. So
More of a singer than a dancer.
Absolutely. Well, she was a showgirl.
Yeah,
Betty
yeah.
was not a dancer.
She didn't.
There again, as I was saying, dancing is something you have to instinctively know what to do.
Yeah.
You could have a whole line of dancers. You have an audition of dancer after dancer, and there'll only be a half a dozen that they will say, come back tomorrow, or come back in 2-3 days. But otherwise, we'll let you know.
Yeah.
Because it depends what you were looking for.
Yeah.
If you're looking for somebody who's just going to sing and look very lovely, and the costumes like the Siegfried girls and that sort of thing. This is what Peggy did at the Dorchester. It was the sort of cabaret where there was a background.
Oh,
She
yeah.
was one of the background. She was still in show business, but she wasn't a star turn.
No.
You know, darling. So, I mean, so we thought one time, a lot of girls, there was Bobby Hubie and somebody else, decided that the sister acts were going very well.
Oh, yeah.
Sister acts and three. But it was something that you had to really do together,
Yeah.
and want to do together, and work like dogs.
Yeah.
I remember I spent one night trying to teach Peggy how to dance, to do some tap dancing. Just very simple, just a break, just a couple of steps and a break, or a soft shoe shuffle. She couldn't do it, you see. She could do the steps, but she was as stiff as a doornail. I mean, there was nothing to it. You couldn't get sort of into it.
Yeah.
And neither could I sing The Break a Day, or something from The Merry Widow, which Peggy could do.
Yeah.
She was a well-trained singer.
Mm-hmm.
But her mother was one of the Gaiety girls who were very famous for their beauty.
Uh-huh.
Not for what they could do particularly,
Right.
you see. And she met Daddy Swaby when she was a Gaiety girl.
Right.
And he was a comedian in the West End. But you see, Daddy Swaby was in some very good shows like Mr. Sinkers and all those. He never was starved.
No.
But he was a living. You know what I mean? It was a job,
Yeah.
really, like everything else. And there's a lot of glamour attached to it, but there's also a lot of dedication.
That's
And when you've got to be at the theatre every morning for theatre call, because the stage manager's mad about something or other, you've got to go through a rehearsal, they'll call, if there's a call in the morning at 9:30 and you've been up till 2 o'clock, you don't feel like going and doing a whole routine.
Yeah.
Or you get the front of the house manager saying your makeup is terrible, you look like 2 holes in a blanket. Do something about it.
Yeah.
There's always somebody nagging at you see. You're not quite, you get you do a bit on your own, or something or other, like when I was in Winona, I had to dance on top of a bar in a sleazy cowboy outfit,
Really?
Winona was the White Eagle, The fellow the White Lord who was brought up as an Indian.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yes, they find him. Then they find out that he was left in the Indian fights and everything. And it was really the White Eagle. It was based on the White Eagle. It was called Winona because that was the Indian princess he fell in love with. So we had Winona. Well, I was the dancer in Winona at His Majesty's Theatre.
Mm-hmm.
And Russell Janney.
Right in the West End, I've seen His Majesty.
Right on that.
And now it's Her Majesty. It's the same one, right? They just changed the
Absolutely.
name.
Well, they changed Queen, didn't they?
That's right, yeah.
Queen instead of a king.
That's right.
So then we have, that was Russell Janney and Russell Janney and Royal Cutter and Olga Trescott was we called them ballet, she was the ballet mistress in those days. They called them choreographers today. It's a little bit different, but she was the ballet. And
You can speak loudly, Mum, because it's dark. So only I'm trying to hush.
so they had the and then you see if you're doing a show, it has to be a good show every night. Whether you don't always put on a good show every night. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
As Richard Burton said, sometimes you come off and you've done a lousy show, but that's how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get some bad crits.
Mm-hmm.
Now the time you go on and you just feel like it. No, I never looked upon it as being a glamorous thing, but it was fun.
Yeah.
But it's a job like everything else,